Hello everyone. I've been wanting to look into what's going on with the Epstein, some names being released in January. I came across this video this morning. I'll link it in the description. It's from Law and Crime Network. And I'm just gonna play it and pull cards, and then we'll stop when we need to talk about it. This is an energy reading. It's all alleged, my opinion, not facts. Here we go.
More than 100 of Jeffrey Epstein's associates and contacts could be revealed in the new year as a trove of court documents are set to be released. We're digging deeper into what that could mean for those with alleged connections to the convicted sex offender, as well as the court case the documents are a part of, all with freelance journalist Daniel Bates, who has been following the story.
This is coming out to defend the US against people that are coming up against us. That's what I got in the reading that I posted a couple days ago. I'll link that in the description as well. We need to do this to protect ourselves against a group that's coming up against us, to transition into calmer waters. That's what I was getting in the reading from a while ago that I reposted the other day. Another defensive energy. Look, they're back to back. Is it fair to say that this is all happening now because the US is protecting itself against another country who's threatening to do something if someone that's not for us, someone that's against us? That's that back-to-back energy. Basically, you expose ourselves, or you expose yourselves, or we expose you, another country to the US. And then you'll be really drowning if you do it our way. So you might as well let yourselves do it before we do it. Because if we release it, we're releasing everything. If you release it, we can see how it goes if you release enough or not. Water supply. What is the US energy in this scenario? Traveler, seeker of horizons, adventure, experience, long journey. They know they're going to have to release more than just what's being released right now, but this is a step one. They're trying to get away from a trap from the country that is going to deliver the message. If we don't, you do it or we're going to. Information transmission, gift. Either you start to make progress on telling on yourselves, or we're just going to dump the whole message out and tell everybody. Confirmation. Basically along these lines, either you get to choose who is revealed, or we're going to reveal, and we're going to start with the people at the very top on that list, and not just expose who's on the list, but also expose other things that they were doing or are doing, so everybody can witness it.
Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse Weber. He is one of the most infamous names worldwide. Everybody knows him. Jeffrey Epstein, convicted sex offender. He died in a New York prison in August of 2019.
You get what you give.
As he was awaiting trial on charges that he engaged in sex trafficking of young girls, he ended up hanging himself. But now, more than 4 years later, we are learning more about the people connected to him and his operation. Now
he ended up himself. 7 of Swords. What kind of betrayal? Priorities. Taking away life by sabotage or betrayal because somebody's priorities were to not make all their hard work go away. So they had to make him into a ghost. So Jeffrey Epstein is not responsible for what happened to Jeffrey Epstein, or what we're told happened to Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, that's direct. All right.
This all stems from a lawsuit that was filed by an alleged victim, Virginia Roberts. She claims that Epstein and his co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, set up her to be assaulted by Prince Andrew, the Duke of York. Maxwell was convicted of child sex trafficking in 2021. She's currently serving a 20-year sentence in a Florida prison. But Roberts sued Maxwell for defamation in 2015, and the case was...
Prince Andrew, is that who they said? It looks right now like he escaped judgment because of a manipulated scenario in which he was able to disconnect. But he'll be exposed. Oh boy. He'll be exposed, but also there's a connection that Prince Andrew has with someone else who's also significant in politics, it feels like. It's like we don't know about the connection between Prince Andrew and this other person yet, but something about the unveiling of the list connects the dots. And not just Epstein, it's like somebody besides Epstein. I don't know if it's somebody that he pretends to not be connected to directly, or it's just like you wouldn't expect it. Ain't no mountain high enough to get the information. Why is the information between Prince Andrew and the other person in power, why is the exposing of that connection significant? Organized crime revealed. Dark organized crime revealed. What kind of dark organized crime? Okay. SEX, but not of... SEX crimes, but not with adults, with people who are not yet adults. That's what's behind the smoke and mirrors. The connection is how there is movement behind the scenes with SEX, bad things with children. Oh my God. It's like between two different countries, like something about transport of people between countries. It becomes obvious how something's happening behind the scenes once the two names connect. Once it's released. Is it possible that they'll put names on this list that are then disproven? Man-made disaster. It's almost like there's a plan to put a name or two on the list and then have it be made to look like it's not accurate to take credibility away from the others who are on the list who are actually accurate. Like leading you in the wrong direction. Parental figure in reverse, leading you in the wrong direction. There's something on the list that's meant to lead the public in the wrong direction. Is that fair to say? Oh, someone who's passed away? Top secret revealed. Something about someone who's passed away and is not here to defend themselves or something like that, but people don't believe whatever the thing is about them being on the list. Operation Mockingbird, government-controlled media in reverse. To try and control the narrative. To try and make the others on the list that are meant to be on the list in a bad way look like it could be less credible if there's some fault or disbelief found. It feels like someone who's already passed away. Or maybe someone who's like, why did I just breathe like that? Yeah, it took their last breath. Someone who's already passed away. There's going to be some kind of drama or like pushback about someone who's on the list who's already not here anymore to defend themselves, but people aren't going to believe whatever it is that it says about them on the list. It's weird. Is the fact that this list is coming out, is that why the person is no longer here? Okay. The option wasn't prison. The option was we had to get the person out of here so that we could kind of play with their name by being on the list but misrepresenting it, but them not being here to defend themselves. Lack of resources. Can't defend myself because I'm not here. Desert in reverse. Desert, you see it's not there. You don't see it and it is there. You don't see what and it is there in regard to that person. Okay. Is the secret weapon that they needed to get rid of someone who people would not believe so that they could tarnish their name by it being on there and knowing that people would not believe it so it could bring less credibility to the others. Private property. That would be the island. So someone's name is going to be on that list. People aren't going to believe how it's represented, or there's going to be something to later contradict the accuracy of that person's role. And it's meant to like dilute the credibility of the rest of the list. Because they don't want any drama. Or they want less drama. They want people to take the list with a grain of salt once it comes out. They're trapped because blackmail doesn't work, because once they're out, they're out. So they just have to get people to believe it less.
Settled, but it didn't end there because media outlets have requested all of these documents that were involved in the case. They wanted them to be made public. Well, now Judge Loretta Preska of the Southern District of New York has decided that over 150 names connected to Epstein and Maxwell will be unsealed in full in all.
$150 names connected to Epstein. Careerist, dreamer of grand schemes, vision, cunning, Machination and aspiration. I have no idea what that word means. Oh, a plot or scheme. A plot or scheme. Careerist. Connected to Epstein. See how it's like split down the middle? Are a portion of these names on this list people that were like tricked or blackmailed, like so that they couldn't talk? I somehow get you to this place, and then once you're there, you're on the list, and I use that against you in case I ever need to. And you never see it coming. You never see it coming how I'm later going to use. I feel like there's people on that list who were lured there. Like, maybe didn't really know what they were getting themselves into. Maybe they were told that it was like a business thing. I don't know, but like there's people on that list that it's like they're cutting the low-hanging fruit. Two-faced, five-faced. I get you there by telling you it's something else, and now boom, you're on the list because we knew that we'd eventually have to release some names, so we had to lure people there who were less high up, so that when these names had to be released, we're releasing the low-hanging fruit's name. So the other ones can get out of it still. Maxwell's list. Engineer. Architect of solutions, engineering practice, problem solver, complex systems, technology. Ugh. Look, it's like the businessman turning into the devil, because careerist. Businessman by day, but like luring him into this web here that's on the face, devil energy. And then this is like the lock, the safe behind him. I come up with solutions. I use technology to like find and lure people. I'm a problem solver, so you tell me what the problem is. You need this, that. I go get it, and then I make sure it can't get away in the safe. Maxwell. Depopulation reversed. Architect of solutions. I bring you the people. I bring you the people and I make sure they can't get away. Which I know we knew that, but like, I know we knew that with victims, right? But we're talking about the list. I lure people to you and then they can't get away. I arrange for people to come to the island knowing that those are going to be the names that are going to be on the list when we have to release something. And they can't get out of it because there's blackmail. Big Pharma exposed for what? Trail of, oh, leading people there for either business, connections, or substance I guess that would also be connections or supply. What's the trail lead to? Strategy reversed. The only ace that's not there is the ace of diamonds. Strategy revealed, diamonds, luring people there with the shiny stuff and then basically getting them into a situation they can't get out of because there's then a trail of them being there. It feels to me like the focus is on the low-hanging fruit that Maxwell was somehow able to lure there specifically so they could be the ones on the list because they knew that names would eventually have to come out. And they put people in place like pawns to try and protect those at the top by giving the public something, knowing that it's nowhere near those who were really doing bad stuff. Explosive, because if we really got the names of the top people and what they were doing there, it would cause something that they could not contain, because those names are even more prominent than those that are going to be on the list. And that's not a mystery. You're not surprised by that.
All of these hundreds of files. But these are not just victims. It could be friends, it could be alleged associates, employees, and more. These people...
Friends, volunteer, willingness, duty, dedication. So and see how there's even like the cage behind. 1 second.
Well, have all been listed as John and Jane Doe's up until now. This is a very big development. It's looking like the public release will happen January 1st, 2024. What a way to start the new year. So with that, I want to bring in Daniel Bates, a freelance journalist who wrote a...
We're going to learn a truth about someone that's going to completely take them down. Someone... Justice in reverse. We're going to learn a truth about someone who's been evading justice for a long time. Somebody that has some kind of power or influence, and they're not going to anymore after this. That's a missing piece. The mighty, affluent. Devil on the bottom of the deck. Who is the person that we are getting information about on this list that has been evading justice for a long time, is directly connected to, it feels like this is representing Epstein, is directly connected to Epstein, has a lot of power or authority that they've been abusing. Who is the person? That's going to be important. Bartender, the one serving the drinks, the one making and serving the concoction. Small talker and alleviator. What's their role of power? Road, faked death. Is something on this list that has to do with this specific person going to get talks going about if Epstein is really not alive anymore? collapse in reverse. Why? What about what we're going to find out is going to increase talks about that? Oh, deep state. Is there someone on the list that when we view this person, it's going to be something along the thought lines of, are they just releasing this now to go after this specific person? They want to trash someone's name because they care a lot about taking away the person's platform. Secret society. There's something about the release of this list that's going to make it look like from Epstein's passing until now, it was all leading up to going after this specific person on the list. So looking back, it's going to be like looking at Epstein's passing again, like everything had to happen to get enough attention on this so that when this list came out, it would be as big of a deal as it is, because there's one specific person on this list that is being targeted for downfall. And that's why they needed to fill the list with that person and a bunch of low-hanging fruit in the grand scheme, because whatever the biggest name is on the list, that's who this is about. And that person somehow holds the energy of small talker is really what's sticking out to me. Like trying to... Evil corporation exposed. Small talker, evil corporation exposed. It's like one person that's being targeted and it's meant to take down the whole organization or whatever that this person is connected to. With the evidence that comes forward. See what else.
Great piece on this on the Daily Mail. He's been following this case very closely. But first, let me just say, Daniel, good to see you. It's been several years. But Daniel and I first met in New York when we were covering the Harvey Weinstein trial. We were out at 5 a.m. in the freezing cold together. So good to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. That was a test of physical endurance, that trial.
You know what was amazing about that? It was literally like the verdict happened, and then I think it was sentencing, and then it was like literally, what was it? 2 weeks? No, a few days later, the pandemic hit. I remember being in that courtroom, and I was like, this is amazing. Like the last time the public, we were all together somewhere.
Harvey Weinstein. The Weinstein, I don't know if I'm saying that right, case was a warning or like a here it comes to everyone who was waiting to see what was going to happen with Epstein. It was like the gearing up for, okay, this is what's coming. We're watching how the public's reacting to this. It's like a microcosm of what's going to happen bigger with Epstein's case. It's like sending the first knight into battle so that they could see how everybody was reacting, talking about it, and what changes they would have to make when they knew at that point that they were going to have to release a list from Epstein and get rid of low-hanging fruit so they can really go after one person that's higher up so that they can take down whatever that person is connected to. Snake, yes. Snakes in the grass. It's the first thing that this person is unable to buy themselves out of it, because once it's out there, it's out there. There's no going back. Can't unlearn it. Can't unknow it.
Right. I remember cursing the court officer who kept opening the windows, and now he's my hero, basically.
Yep. There you go. All right, let's talk about Jeffrey Epstein. Let's first start. Why is this happening now? Why did the judge decide to do this?
Well, this has been sitting around for quite some time, and it's the last batch of these documents. We've had, 6 or 7 now since 20.
Why is this happening now? Going after one main person, using it in a dualistic nature, because we also have to turn the lights on in order to defend ourselves, as in the USA, against someone who's strong-arming us, and they're going to fight us if we don't start to expose people. So we're releasing. We're doing what we have to do. Putting it out there. We have to release everything. Putting it out into the space of the public domain. Because if not, someone else is going to expose. Yep. If not, someone else is going to expose, and we don't want that. We want to control how we're exposing ourselves as opposed to rolling the dice on someone else exposing us because they're angry. They're trying to dismantle a whole political party with something on this list. That's the ultimate intention. It's like a couple steps down, but and it's probably not going to work that way, but that's the intent. Evil exposed.
2019, when the first lot came out. And really, it's been waiting to happen for some time, and I'm not sure why the judge decided to do it now. Maybe it was the end of the year.
I'm not sure why the judge decided to do it now. 3 cards. They are trying to end someone's career. Political career. We need to end someone's political career so that they cannot recover. Basically, knock them down so that they can't stand back up. It's really about one person on this list. Rebellion, and that's a president. They're trying to make it so that their career is ruined enough so that they're knocked down and they cannot stand back up and rebel against what's happening.
Yeah, she wanted to clear her decks, but this has been, in the offing for quite some time, and it's finally happened. So, and as you mentioned, what we're going to get is, by my count, the details about 177 people who are associated with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, we don't have their names yet, but we have descriptions of some of them. They include Epstein's recruiters, his associates,
nothing they can do
some
now.
of the victims.
It's too late.
And it's going to be a significant amount of information.
A lot of different people.
My understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the judge reason that it was open.
Oh.
Prince Andrew back.
I clicked on that by accident. Prince Andrew. Show me Prince Andrew. Keeper of epic tales. Look, he even looks like him. Show me the person that Prince Andrew is connected to that is a target of this list being released. Keeper of epic tales, chronicler of stories, reporting, interview, promotion. Is it fair to say that Prince Andrew is connected to someone in a way that we don't know about, and that person on the list that's connected to Prince Andrew behind the scenes, it's like once we see the connection between the two of them, it puts other things in place with what? Secret trip, going to meet up with one another in secret. They're both in equally as deep, but in different ways. Andrew. Other person. Whoever it is, it's someone who's like higher up then, or has more influence, or has more power than Prince Andrew. Show me their connection. Nobody's watching. Nobody knows about this connection. Show me what the connection makes clear. Like once you realize these two are connected, it makes blank clear. No. Mask off. No mask off, so mask on. It makes what clear? It shows clearly that there's some leader who is completely lying about what? Who they are. But in what way is it exposed? Because they're connected. Am I not supposed to say more? I'm like being blocked from seeing the rest of it. Money, okay. All right. Hold on, I have to figure out. Oh.
Then will of course, be explosive. But like I say, I'm not necessarily expecting any new names, but what I am expecting is more flesh on the bones of what we already knew, which, if it does involve high-profile men, may be enough.
It's so interesting you think it's not going to be necessarily new names, because I wonder what would constitute somebody being in there. Is it somebody who just had a conversation with Jeffrey Epstein? Was at a dinner with Jeffrey Epstein? I guess I'm trying to understand what would have made it important to be in the files that they are counted as one of the names that will be released.
I mean, the way that names have come in already that we know, people were named in depositions. For example, Virginia Roberts or Virginia Giuffre, she alleged that she was forced to have sex with a number of high-profile men, including former New Mexico Governor Bill Richardson and billionaire hedge fund manager Glenn Dubin, both of who denied the claims. And she said that
there's going to be at least one person on there that's a new name that we don't know about, and that's the high up person that's on there is the person that's connected to Prince Andrew, that there's something significant about that connection. But there's, and the person already knows, whoever it is, the person knows. They know there's nothing they can do to stop it at this point. Yeah, secrets being revealed. They know there's nothing they can do to stop it. There's at least one name that's going to be a focus here.
a deposition which was unsealed in a previous batch of these. Other things other allegations have been made in police documents and so forth. So I think it's we'll have to see what's in the documents, but in particular, I'm looking for expanded depositions from a couple of people, and in particular, one of Prince Andrew's accusers, Joanna Schoberg.
All right, we want to thank Morgan & Morgan for sponsoring this video. I think it's pretty clear in the stories that we cover that it is not...
Military dropped on the ground. Military dropped on the ground. Military as in someone who has pull or involved in the military, or military as in the operation? Real information, so the operation. Real information or real person? Abuse of power. So there's going to be light shown on a decision that someone in power makes after they are revealed as being connected to this list. It's almost like someone, once realizing that there's a connection between this person and Prince Andrew, it shines light on other things that this person is in close proximity to that involves children. That they thought they got away from. It's like this person thinks that they've gotten out of something, and then this draws them back into other problems that they have that are separate from the island, but also bad things that they thought they were keeping quiet because of the connection. Okay.
Not always safe out there. When you're hurt, it can be pretty confusing. It could be single team. That's pound 5.
So there'll probably be dry legal.
A document dump, and we have to sort through it to make sense of what it all is?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a document dump. So you're just going to get a pile of stuff related to each John or Jane Doe, and you're going to have to go through it. So there'll probably be dry legal motions, things that aren't necessarily very interesting. And the next document will be a fascinating deposition. So based on
we're getting skeletons coming out of the closet about real humans, but that's not all the truth that's coming out. There's stuff there's much more being not said than what is being revealed. So we got to keep pushing for more. It's like they expect us to be satisfied with bare minimum information about this so that they don't have to reveal more, but they're trying to ease up the pressure from whoever's trying to get them to reveal some. Whoever has the knife in their back, hypothetically. Like, you better do this now. You better tell on yourselves or we're going to tell on you. Trapped, yeah.
Previous experience is going to be a real hodgepodge of stuff, a real mixture of things, and just have to go in and weed through it.
Now, again, my understanding is if anybody believes their names are in these documents, the judge has given them a way to get out, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, what's interesting about this last batch is that by and large, these weren't people who objected to their names coming out. In the previous batches, it was far more contentious because those were the people who said, no, I don't want my names coming out. In some cases, there were lawyers in court arguing on behalf of them. But these are people who, for the most part, didn't raise any objections. So they either don't care, not bothered, or just want to be done with it. So on the one hand, you could argue
they're in a trap where they know it's their time to be viewed. They're not protesting because that's part of some kind of a deal where both things are losing. Like, I lure you into a trap and then I cut you because you're the low-hanging fruit. But, like, that is better than revealing everything that I have on you blackmail-wise. So it's like The people, is it fair to say that the people on the list that have done bad, they've done worse than what they're being accused of on the list, and they're taking the lesser evil of being exposed for being on the list as opposed to whatever proof someone has in the form of blackmail on each individual? That, okay, so we had the other humanoid in reverse. Now we have transhuman. That's the moving of people forward so that they're that first line that gets knocked down to protect the line of people that are behind them. Directed energy weapon, Project Bluebeam in reverse. It's like you're up, you're up, you're up, because the people who are coming to the front, it's like they have worse skeletons in the closet that there's proof of, whereas just being on the list, you don't see what actually happened, if that makes sense. But like the blackmail that is had on these people, that is like provable, like pictures or videos of something, and it's like they would rather have the name being on the list released than the proof of the other crimes that they've done being released. Mask off. Yeah, that's the opposite of the bioweapon one. So mask off. That's the mask off. I'm voluntarily mask off in this area so that my mask can stay on in whatever there's blackmail on me about. Yeah, the opposite of a ghost. So you're seeing picking and choosing which skeletons of the closet fall out for them.
Well, that means it's perhaps less salacious. On the other hand, perhaps these are people who just think, well, I just want to move on. I don't want, to fight it. Let the chips fall where they may. So, you could argue that both ways.
I don't think anybody wants their name with Jeffrey Epstein in any kind of context. I mean, look, so the judge has given anyone named in the document.
It's time for the certain people to come out of the dark. They knew that this was coming. This has been like almost like an instant alert of the trap. Like, oh, you're here. You're in this situation. We have this blackmail on you. You're eventually going to be released as a name. That's like, it's only been a matter of time since whenever they first got into a situation where there was blackmail against them.
It's 2 weeks to object to their information being made public. Otherwise, it is going to be released on New Year's Day or right after. How would they know their names are in there? I mean, that's the question, right? I mean, how would they know? And how would we know if anybody? Because I'm also thinking, like, if someone were to object, is that private? Is that sealed? Will we not know if they object? How would they know their names are even in the documents? And how can we know if there are anybody who objects?
I'll say this. The release of certain names is meant to do more widespread damage through connections to these names. So there's some people that are not on the list that are being targeted because of connections that they have with people on the list, because it feels like there's going to be like a second wave of releasing of things, releasing of names. Show me the second wave. coming back to life. Happy. The first release is like the stirring of the pot, because it's supposed to not be enough for people. It's meant to make people wanting the real. It's meant to make people want more, so that they'll be forced to give more, because they want to cut another layer of the low-hanging fruit, but they already want people to be talking about the connections that are had between certain groups of people, if that makes sense. Conspiracy exposed. The connections. There's something about the connections. Like, if person A is on the list and you don't see person B, it's meant to get people talking about that, and then saying that this is not enough, we want more. It's leading towards causing or leading towards some kind of additional suit, like how the one woman filed something against Prince Andrew. It's meant to piss people off just enough that somebody is like, okay, well, they're only taking it this far, I have to do something, because that something leads to another round of things being released. Yeah, the connections. It's all about those connections. They're doing it so that it causes someone to push forward with, I need more answers, I'm gonna file some kind of suit too. All right, that's it for now, because Gavin and my mom are right underneath me and they're very loud. So this is all for now. I will finish this later. I'll link the video in the description. Please remember, this is all alleged, my opinion, not fact. Actually, just one more card. The person who's like leading the charge here, behind the scenes, what's their energy? Oh, that person. That's why the focus is on children. All right, that's enough for today. Please remember, this is all alleged, my opinion, not fact. Timeline of when they want to see things unfold. Solved in reverse, liberation. Because the other country is trying to prove a point. What's the point? Down the rabbit hole that there's more to see. It's almost like the US wanted these things more spread out, but it's happening more quickly because another country is trying to bring attention to the fact that there's more to see than what's meeting the eye. It's payback for something that another country feels like the US has done. What? Trapping real humans. Another country wants to make the US pay for something. Outgoing, that's the message. That's the message they're trying to give. The walls are closing in on your plan, as in another country to the US. Underground, I said sleeper cells. Another country is trying to show the US that what they think they have control over, they actually don't. What is the next step for whoever has access to what the US thinks that they can't access? Fake news, propaganda. The other country is getting what they wanted. Something's going to happen soon that makes it very obvious that there's something going on behind the scenes, even to those who want to still stay asleep. Something is going to happen soon, and whatever it is, plus Robert Card, plus the other events that have recently happened, there's like a puzzle piece coming that once it fits, we're going to see what that whole picture paints. It's time for a male to go down, because they'll distract us with something about Biden while behind the scenes we're battling it out with this other country for control over our own antenna. I don't know what else. End of the road. It's almost like, we'll stop if you give us this. We'll stop if you get, like the other country to the US. Look, we have access. We can do this and that. And if we do it in this timing, it's going to expose you. We want this from you, and then we'll stop. No perversion of real person. Other country to the US. If you expose the Epstein list with all those powerful people on it, we'll leave all your sleeper cells alone. We won't mess with them anymore. Go ahead and do that and expose yourselves, and we'll leave you alone. The US can't do that. There's the match again. Confirmation. Not a white collar crime, a big crime. Handcuffs on the top. A lot of people would have to go away if that list was exposed, leaving a lot of powerful positions very weak. So the other country kind of has a stronghold where either you're going to expose yourself and a lot of powerful people are going to go down and it leaves you weak, or you're not going to expose yourself and you know that these things are going to keep happening because we're playing a role in it. That'll make them sober up. Meaning what? Counterfeit. The US is scrambling to get certain people out of positions of power and replace them because they know something is coming. Government agency exposed. Climate change. They know something is coming. Something is going to change. Lightning is going to strike. DNA reversed. Reptilians. And this is chess. Reptilians versus the good guy. They're playing chess. What is the reptilians' next move and what is the good guy's next move? Trying to prevent the good guy from seeing their next move, which is neighborhood. Okay, letting the devil out on the whole neighborhood. And the good guy's next move, it's like cutting the low-hanging fruit. We're going to start to notice that people in positions of power, there's a pattern in how they're being removed or what's going on in their lives in the background as why they're being removed. Conspiracy exposed about what? So we're going to start to see clearly by the patterns about why certain people are being removed from positions of power and what that's preparing for. Top secret exposed. Trapped. So the US could expose the Epstein list, or those on the Epstein list begin to have information about them revealed. So the other country's getting what they wanted either way. Hired secret weapon. That's what they chose as their secret weapon. Either you expose yourselves or we one by one will expose you. So those who are about to get exposed for something are being removed from their powerful positions before they can be a powerful person in a position of power that gets exposed. If they get removed and replaced, at least there's someone filling that position so the entire entity itself is not weakened. And then those people just have to deal with being exposed once they're not in the position of power because they know it's coming because they refuse to expose themselves and another country has us in a stronghold. About our lies. The lies we've been told. And we're about to learn the truth of them.